The worst accident I ever had performing was actually not juggling the chainsaw. I will admit, one time I got cut from a chainsaw. The tip just nicked my arm, but I was okay. I mean, I got real lucky. I think the worst I ever got hurt, I was juggling 2 knives and an apple and eating the apple while I juggle, but you have to bite it really fast. You don't have much time, so you bite really fast and hard. And my thumb got all the way back between my 2 molars. I squished my thumb so bad, I can't tell you. The nail was shattered. It was all black and blue the next day. And, you know, who would think it's from eating an apple that I get hurt as opposed to the chainsaws? And briefly, one other accident I had was I was on a stage at an outdoor festival, and the stage was about 8 feet from the ground, from a dry creek bed, and I'm not paying attention. I actually stepped off the stage and fell all the way to the ground and landed, had the wind knocked out of me, so I couldn't even get my breath, and the audience was laughing hysterically. They thought it was a joke of some sort, and they couldn't stop laughing, and I'm just like, oh! That was pretty bad too. I first learned to juggle when I was 13 years old. I was given an instructional book for Christmas called Juggling for the Complete Klutz, which became a very popular klutz line of books, instructional books. But I learned when I was 13 from the book, and then shortly after did my first little street show and just kept going from there. I don't know why juggling, but just when I was a kid and I first learned to juggle, I got hooked on it. It was like an obsession. I just had to learn one more trick and add one more ball to the pattern, and I would just practice hours and hours a day. And I don't know why that is, but for some reason it just clicked with me. And people ask, how did you know that's what you wanted to do? And the fact is, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I mean, really, I kind of fell into it. I learned to juggle. I loved to juggle, so I kept doing it. And then I almost accidentally found out I could make money doing it when I saw other people doing street performances, and then I went out to do street performances, actually made money at it, and so I kept going. And then I think I was fortunate because I started young, so I didn't need to make a lot of money. I mean, if I started at 44 and I had to pay a mortgage, it probably wouldn't have worked out so well. But so yeah, I mean, the answer is I don't really know how I fell into it, and I just felt like I loved doing it, and I kept doing it. I think to try and stand out originally, it was that I would just try and do one more thing, try and top anything I could think of. Just keep topping myself, because in Venice Beach, where I grew up doing street shows, the audience feels like they've seen everything. It's really hard to get them to stop and watch. So it became like, oh, knives aren't enough? Well, I'll do torches. Well, torches aren't enough? I'll do chainsaws. I'll do stun guns, just to try and keep going further and further to get people's attention and turn the show into more of a spectacle. And I guess in the end that has made me, stand out from other performers, just because people want to see you do crazy stuff, and I give the people what they want. America's Got Talent, they've emailed me every season and said, hey, we see your stuff, don't you want to come on my show? The first time they ever contacted me, I said, oh, okay, so what, you just pay your union scale to the union people? They said, no, your union gave us a contract to be a reality show. I said, well, I know my union wouldn't do that. Well, I found out my union did do that, in fact. Primetime network television, they're millions of dollars in advertising revenue, and they're paying zero. So I just, as a protest, told them I will not go on their show until they start paying their talent. I said, you don't even have to pay much. Just if you're making an effort to pay everyone a little something, I will feel like I would be willing to support your show. But as long as they're just not paying, I just told them I just don't think that's right. I don't know if I want my kids to follow in my footsteps or not. I really want to leave that up to them, like whatever they want to do. When my daughter was 3 years old and I was out on the road doing shows, out of the blue, she said to my wife, when I get big like Daddy, I want to juggle chainsaws. Well, we've always said we would never push our careers on the kids, but my wife is a makeup artist, and when I got back home, she had bought a little makeup kit for my daughter. So I don't know if they're interested in doing it. I would fully support it, and I would probably be pretty excited to pass some of this stuff on to them. But I also have a nephew and some other extended relatives and kids that have some interest in juggling. And I would say that someday I would like to, whether I represent them as an agent or I just help them, move along, I would sort of like to pass the torch along, whether it's to my own kids or just other kids that have that interest, and I've got a lot of knowledge I could share with them. I'd love to pass that along someday. I think I'll always juggle even when I'm an old man or whatever, but I mean, I don't know how much longer I can physically do all the stuff I do in my show as far as chainsaw juggling show after show and stuff. I think I can do it for a good while still, but I mean, I definitely am fully aware that my line of work is not something I can continue to a ripe old age. I mean, I won't be juggling chainsaws when I'm 65, I don't think. But we'll see. I'm holding up so far.